welcome back again, YouTube. You're live on Auto Transport Intel. I'm Jay. I'm the car hauling dispatcher. Well, listen, you know what? I guess I just made a mistake. I used the word expert in the thumbnail for this video, and you know what? I guess don't use that word expert, because if you say expert, then I guess you're claiming to be an expert, and my goodness, nobody wants to hear the word expert. So let me clarify why I use that word expert, and let me clarify also what I'm talking about, okay? By the way, I got this picture off of Facebook. This is Mikey Hudgens' truck, and so really cool shot there. So I appreciate that was available for me to use. So listen, this is car hauling dispatcher training part 3 of 3. Okay, this is the expert module. Now, what am I talking about, expert module? All right, well, I did part 1, which was beginner. Part 2 was advanced. Part 3 is expert. Now, I'm not saying I'm an expert, and I'm not saying I'm cranking out experts, and by golly, we know that there's no way that a dispatcher could even be an expert. Hey, what's up? Shaw0521, welcome to the show, man. You're the first one here, and you know what? I don't think you've been to the show before, so I appreciate it. I appreciate that I didn't rub you the wrong way with using the word expert. Dave at Clarksville, thanks for coming in. Expert, expert, expert. And Sean, of course, Ocean Roads Transport checking in from the Loves in Polk City, Florida. So, yeah, man, join the live chat. Tell me where you are right now. I know a lot of you guys are driving, or you're at a truck stop, or you don't want to talk about it. Your day's crazy. My goal of this show tonight of the car hauling dispatcher training is, see, the deal, I've been a dispatcher since 2012. I didn't plan on getting into dispatching. I never planned on training dispatchers, but I'm here. Now, claiming to be an expert, I guess. And I have a lot of information that I want to share. And then there's Mike. He's back. Mike is back with us. See, we did beginner part 1, February 20th. We did advanced part 2, March 6th. And now we're going to do expert part 3 here in May 29th. I believe there's no part 4. Part 4 would be like godly or legendary or some other, fancy word in video gaming. So we were not going to do that. It'd be crazy. We might set people off. What is going on, Paul, at Max Premier Transport Service? Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining the show again. Ali Aryeh. Hey, experts. What's up, experts? So it sounds like a new brand. By the way, I got my T-shirt here. You guys can see this is my second show with a T-shirt, and I also have a hat that says I guess this should say expert. And this is episode number 35 in a row of the live show, so that's cool too. So Hotshot Dave is driving but watching. Okay, be careful, Hotshot Dave. I was watching a show before this, Trucking with Authority with Kenny Long, and he said something smart. He goes live a lot of Tuesdays before this show, and we're not affiliated anyway, but I like his show. He does a freight show, and he's on Facebook and YouTube, and he was saying, if you're driving, just be careful, maybe turn off the video and just listen in on the phone, I think is what he was saying. It's a pretty smart idea. Smart guy. Jose Perez is back. What's up, man? Thanks for coming back to the show. And you know what, you guys? I love it when you guys join me on the show. I really do. Because I don't want to sit here and just talk to a camera. I'm sitting at my dispatch desk where I sit here all day and I work and I dispatch and I make phone calls and I try to book loads that don't exist and I talk to brokers that, are like, go away and repo lots, laughing in the distance. Okay, that's not true, but it sure feels that way. German Shepherds in Guatemala is with us. Yeah, welcome, man. That's cool. Brian the Car Hauler is back. That's awesome. You've been following and listening to the videos and learning a lot. Cool. That's, and that's the point. That's why I created this channel. Again, I didn't plan on doing any of this, but maybe sometimes the things that are organic are the best tasting fruits. Come on, man. That's not even... this happened. It happened because I had the information and I like to make media. I've made different shows before, and this seems to be the one that's really, it's got a real reason and purpose and niche, and so I'm just not going to stop doing it. Even if I make, stupid mistakes like using the word expert from time to time. So I'm really glad that you're learning. I appreciate that, and thanks for sharing that. And we have the German Shepherds in Guatemala, of course. That's a great name. That's a great name. We should all have a name that good. Carshipio Stan is with us. Welcome back, Stan. All right. Yeah, it's good to hear from you from time to time. I know we're not in touch, so that everybody knows. Mea culpa, we're not in touch. But we, have interacted at a couple points over the phone. I think there's a few videos with you. So, got to keep it cool. Ali Aryeh, man, you're liking it. All right, cool. That's cool, man. And who else we got here? No sick days. Exactly. I, I've dispatched sick. You guys drive sick. And besides, we're all a little bit sick because we're in car hauling. DP Dispatch. Welcome back to the show, Davison. Cool. So I got you another dispatching lead today, and I hope that works out. If you are a driver and you're looking for a dispatcher, let me know. You can send me an email, autotransportintel@gmail.com. If you're a broker, if you're a car shipping customer, if you're a dealer, if you're an insurance agent, if you're a trailer manufacturer, this ecosystem, this is building. This is crazy, man. Auto Transport Intel is building. In fact, if you don't know, and why would you? And why, you know what? Who cares? But just in case you care, yeah, I crossed 2,000 subscribers, making you dizzy. What's up? I crossed 2,000 subscribers this past week. The show last Tuesday, I was at 1,900 and change. I think I was around like 1970s. And so I'm getting like 50 subscribers a week right now, which is just, it's great. And I know it's a niche, so I'm not worried about it. Yes, I watch my metrics. We all watch metrics. And in fact, I'm excited too to wrap up car hauling dispatch training part 3, because in June I want to get to trucking numbers. George, buddy, you email me. I love your emails, and that goes for any of you guys. If you want to email me, send me an email. Autotransportintel@gmail.com. And George really wants me to talk about trucking numbers, so we're going to get back into that. We're going to get back into business expenses and what's involved. How do you calculate your break-even point? And I've been watching The Prophet a lot. He's all about the numbers too, so we're really going to get into the numbers. And by the way, again, I'm not the end-all be-all expert. The information I share on this show comes from you, it comes from me, it comes from phone calls, it comes from, stuff I've read or, information I've been given. So this is certainly not a walled garden, right? I want you to know that. I mean that. Without you guys, there is no show. I'm not going to just sit here and talk to myself. So if we get back to like one person watching, then I guess, I don't know, I gotta go play Fortnite or something, because man, I really want to play Fortnite. I'm jonesing. You finally made it to a live episode, Arthur. That's cool, man. Thank you. Thanks for joining. And also, if you like what's happening, please hit the like button. The likes really help in the YouTube rankings. Subscribers help, likes help, comments help. Say anything. Say, oh my gosh, this is terrible, or I didn't learn anything, or you're no expert. Whatever it is, just say it, leave the comments, and shares are great too. So that's pretty cool. You're always watching my shows, Jose. That's cool, man. And you know what? What's cool is several times a week now in between the shows, I get some nice comments or a question, or, I see somebody else pop in the Facebook page that I hadn't seen before, and I really appreciate it. I really do. I'm not trying to make a lame show. I know I've made lame shows in the past. If this show does get lame, let me know. Put it in the comments below. Fabiano Santos. Hey, Jay, I think I'm addicted to your show. That is awesome. That's what we're talking about. That really is the goal. That's my goal, to create an addicting show. So that's pretty cool. That is really cool. Thank you so much. PR Caribbean. Hi, Jay. Is Wanda still in Puerto Rico? Oh, yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard from Wanda. That was like a week and a half ago, and I forget what that was about. Was it about carpooling, or I can't remember. I can't remember, but when she gets back from Puerto Rico, I hope she contacts me. She's either into brokering. Remind me, PR Caribbean, what was that about that we were going to talk about? I can't remember. Jay, please be my dispatcher. Oh, man. Thank you. I'm honored by that. And that is actually my goal tonight in the expert module, is to really talk about what makes an expert dispatcher. I know there's expert truckers. I know there's expert brokers. Wink, wink. And I know there's expert shipping customers. We all know that. So there must be expert dispatchers, and we know we want to talk to them. I hope. Original tweeter, evening everyone. All right, man. I'm looking forward to talking to you in June. And Jose, I'm in. You're sorry you missed last week. Well, you are forgiven. That's right. Everybody's forgiven. We all get a second chance. Tim Parker, good info. Be tuning in. Cool. That's cool, Tim. Thanks for letting me know. And Johnny De La Garza was watching part 2 yesterday again. It's funny, and that's how I know if I enjoy watching the show back. That's how I know that I definitely want to make another show. Because if I'm not enjoying it, I've got to fix it. It's got to be changed, and we got a problem. So I watch my shows, and I'm pretty critical of myself. I'm rambling right now. Is this any good? Is this good content? I don't know. Maybe. 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 David Miller, what's up, car haulers? Okay, David, I think I just got your Facebook message, so that is really cool. And part 3 is here. Yeah, that's the thing, is that it's been a long time coming, but the timing was partly requested by Mike. Again, Mike was my trainee. Mike is my trainee. Mike now has drivers. Okay? He was my trainee in February and March, and now it's May, and already, after only 90 days, a dispatch trainee already has his chops busted up, has learned, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And, oh yeah, I did book something good. I mean, those things happen. It happens really quick. There should be a super trucker show. Yeah, there should be a super trucker show. I think there is, man. There's got to be a super trucker show. So, I've got my, I'll tell you what, I've got the industry news, and, I like to do that at the beginning of the show, but at the same time, it's like, let's just do a couple. All right, if dispatch would realize we drive trucks, not time machines, that'd be great. This guy was all over Facebook. You guys saw this guy, man. He made the rounds. This is a super trucker, Dave. Get out of here. I got a super chat. Thank you, Arthur. I appreciate that. The super chat button. Let me go ahead and get some Kool-Aid here. That's where it's going to go. I got my ELD Kool-Aid. You know what? When an ELD is messing up my day, that's why I say it's just okay. Wow. Now you know, man. Just keep hitting it. We'll tell Arthur that the super chat button is really the like button. And just he keeps hitting it. No, listen, Arthur, I appreciate it, man. That is the super chat button, and you can donate a dollar amount to the show. It's irreversible, so know that going in. But it goes to a good place, and actually YouTube takes its cut, but that's because they allowed this format to take place for you to donate to the show. So I really do appreciate it, and I've spent a little bit of money on the show, not very much, just really a little bit. I bought the shirt, I got a hat, I got one of each. That's it. So if I mess it up, no more. I don't have any more. So I got to be cool. But I want to make more. I want to get some merchandising, and as you can see, I've got some logos now and stuff. I'm actually working on some business cards. And if you want a stack of business cards to pass around at truck stops, spread the word, let me know. Send me an email, autotransportintel@gmail.com. I'll send you some business cards, and you can help me get the word out, because this show happens here at my desk. I'm I'm not anywhere else. I'm just sitting here. Okay. Thank you, Arthur. I really appreciate that. All right, cool. We'll do a few more of these. All right, Super Trucker. Okay, that is not a Super Trucker. That is, I don't even understand. How did he get in that position? Why? I mean, did he camp for the night during low tide? I don't know. I don't get it. I'd love to hear your theories. Okay, that's why I wanted to show this. Okay, two people that you want to, your wife, your dispatcher, which might be the same person. For a lot of companies, same person. So that's just one person, not to irritate. I keep it clean. This is YouTube. I want to stay monetized. Believe me, it's not much. Okay, and his wife told him to be a hotshot. So now, I'm not sure why you do that. You're just moving the couch. Why not? You know what? Change perspective. And there is a bow. That's precarious. But you know what? Oh, and it's still on the trailer. Wow. That is precarious. And here's another dispatcher one. She asked if I was getting off on time. I said, well, what do I look like, a dispatcher? Okay, what do we got here? He's Ada. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, we're going to let that one through. Yeah, I can't wait till you get to the numbers in future shows. Yeah, that is going to be good, Tim. It is going to be interesting. It's going to require... Oh, no, I got another super chat. Oh, man, that is so cool. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Please send me an email, and that goes for Arthur also. If you just send me an email, autotransportintel@gmail.com. If you have a question or if you want me to send you business cards or whatever, yeah, man, send me an email. That's really cool. I feel pressure to get to part 3, and so I don't like to rush things, but I just want to get to the next important part. I'm a dispatcher. I mean, that's what it's all about. Let's go ahead and jump into part 3. I'm a dispatcher, man. I know that I got to keep it moving, and it's all about, dispatching is all about, oh, wow, what do we got? Oh, that's pretty weird. Dispatching's all about keeping it moving, right? We got to make money. We got to keep this thing moving. We do not have time to sit around. So I want to say this. Let's just do a little bit of recap here. Auto Transport Intel, Car Hauling Dispatcher Training, Part 1, Beginner Series, was about, okay, you're fresh, you're green, you have no idea what we're talking about. So here, sit at a workstation, and here's some perspective of what car hauling is. These are trucks, these are trailers, and this is a load board, and this is a, what else? These are some of the documents that drivers need. Clarksville Trucking. Oh my gosh, Dave. That is super, super nice, man. I got to send you some Kool-Aid. Me and you got to go down to the creek and celebrate, man. That is super cool, man. Dave at Clarksville Trucking started off as my relationship with him, another driver, didn't know, got to know a little bit, and then, okay, let's try and move a few cars, let's have a few laughs, and then we shot a couple videos and met for coffee, and now, Dave's a friend of mine now, and so to have Dave, contribute in the super chat, it's wonderful. I really, really appreciate that. It helps the show, and it helps me. And, I don't know what else to say, Dave. It's incredibly generous, and I really appreciate that. So, thank you so much, man. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna try and get back on the train here, because I did say the word expert. Man, I gotta live up to it. Okay, so dispatcher training course. At the end of part 1, we talked about searching a route and searching for cars. I got another one. Oh my gosh. Arthur, Neil, holy cow. Listen, buddy, that's not the like button. You're hitting the super chat button. Listen, I appreciate that. It's super cool, man. Gosh, you guys are killing me. It's awesome. I really appreciate it. I don't know what to say. So I'm just gonna try and keep moving. I don't wanna get off track, but I really appreciate it. You better send me an email, Arthur. And that goes for you too, Shaw. All right. So then part two was, oh my gosh, what? I didn't know you could do that much. I've never seen, but that's my biggest one so far. That's crazy. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to turn the fans up. I think I'm starting to sweat. Wow. That is crazy. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh man, this is crazy. I feel like I'm up on stage and I'm just, being healed right in front of the audience. Okay, man, this is crazy. Thank you, Mike. Mike is my trainee, and by the way, I think Acme, you and I have talked on the phone. I think several months ago. I believe you're in Florida, and please send me an email. Give me an update on how things are going. That'd be great to hear from you. And you know what, Acme? I'd like to have you on the show in June also. When we run numbers, and we're going to be doing some more Hot Shot 101. So I would love to have you on the show. So please send me an email. Man, crazy. I like the pretty colors too, man. This is awesome. This is crazy. And then Mike, I'm glad that the information is helping you. It's really, really cool to see it working. And, I work really hard to put this spreadsheet stuff together. I work really hard to prep the shows. And because when I go live on Tuesday at 8 every week, I mean, I want to be ready. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's crazy. This is like it's like eBay. It's like eBay. I now feel like an object, and I'm being bidded on like I'm an object, and it's kind of wonderful actually. Thank you so much. Man, you guys are going to make me, I don't know, man, I'm sweating over here. I'm really sweating. I've never seen anything like it. You're the man. We all appreciate it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Wow, it's amazing. So much generosity. It's crazy. This is crazy. I'm never gonna get to the information. Okay, here we go. So, okay, something else. Like what? Freaking out. Okay, so advanced. So then in the advanced module, then we had to dive into information. Okay, so we got to get into how you're really going to search, what it takes to negotiate, types of pickup locations, talking about run and drives, types of payments, understanding brokers, and then finalizing, getting that dispatch, and at the end of the day, looking into the next day. Because day 2 is coming, and then it's just a roller coaster, It's like the waves coming, right? And just every day, another day, another day. So you want one of them shirts. I think, you know what, Dave? I think you just got a shirt, man. I got to get you a shirt. I'll get you a shirt, Dave. That's crazy. I'll just say right now. So if but you know what? Here's the problem. I got to order. Here's what I need to do. I need to order some shirts in bulk. So before I get excited and start handing out shirts like I got one of them fancy guns at the Monster Jam show, I need to order some shirts in bulk. Otherwise, by themselves, it's I don't know. It's a little bit pricey, but yes, Dave, you're getting a shirt. Dave's definitely getting a shirt. So I don't want to make. Oh my god, that is crazy. But I can't be your dispatcher. Well, send me an email and we'll talk about it. I don't know if I can be your dispatcher, but if you send me $100, you can send me an email and we'll definitely talk about it. Because the thing is, you guys, you've watched my videos, and I want you guys to get your money's worth. I'm a big believer in that. I make this show. I'm trying to come from a good place. Again, I never intended to do this, but it kind of started. There was a point a long time ago where I had to train a dispatcher, and I kind of knew right away that I could probably do it, just because I've learned through hard knocks. This is a hard knocks business. Everybody knows that in car hauling. This is car hauling, man. That's why I created hashtag This Is Car Hauling. Man, this is a tough industry. So, um, end of day 2, advanced. All right. So then now let's go into expert. I'm just all over the place. I'm rambling. I'm like an animal seeing bowls of food everywhere. Okay, here we go. It's not all about you. It's all about the car. All right. This stems from this is what I call the video. All right. This is what I call the video. The title of the video. It's not all about you. It's all about the car. So here we go. Dispatching training part 3, expert module. I'm gonna get Mike on the phone. Here we go. You guys killing me over here. This is awesome. This is the best show, best beginning of any show I've ever had, ever in my life. Actually, I've never had such generosity in the first 30 minutes of any show I've ever done. It's crazy.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey Jay, how's it going?
Hey, man. Oh, craziness, man. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, Mike is back with us for part 3 for the expert module. Are you ready to become an expert dispatcher?
Yeah, we'll sure try.
You're already on your way, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
when I say you know what I mean. I mean, is that you are already experiencing upper level problems, right? And that's how you become an expert at anything, is by experiencing upper level problems to the point where you're pushed. It's either fight or flight, or all those wonderful catchphrases, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So as I was saying, it's not all about you, it's all about the car. So let's talk about, I mean, what are we doing here? We're dispatchers. We're nobody, okay? I mean, we're just a link in a long chain. And that chain is, we're not nobody, okay? I didn't mean that. We're important. We're all important, but we're all little pieces of a long chain. Okay, we're dispatching vehicles, which is just a very small part of a giant automotive industry. Okay,
Right.
I mean, right? But we perform what I would consider a pretty significant function. Whether you want to call it dispatcher or guy on the phone, I think dispatcher is a good catch-all phrase, because dispatchers work for carriers who haul for shippers that are often working with brokers. And that car is somebody's baby. Whether it's a cheap car or a collector car that cost 10 times the cheap car, whatever the level is, that car means so much to somebody. So the driver already knows this. The driver sees that person, touches the car, moves it, straps it down. They've got insurance and everything they're thinking about all the time they're driving. They got their family. So they personally know the value of this vehicle and the move and how important it is to somebody. But I don't think the dispatcher always does. And the reason I say this, I know I didn't understand it in the beginning. I was so focused on, am I able to dial this number and call this broker and keep it together? I was so focused on that I wasn't thinking about the bigger picture. A manufacturer makes a car. A car is delivered to a dealership. Maybe it comes by boat, maybe it takes a train, takes a transporter, it goes OEM to dealer, it gets sold and bought, used, resold, goes to an auction, then maybe another auction, maybe another private individual, and finally it's near the end of its life cycle. It's ready for salvage, ready for parts, and within all of that there are so many touch points, and we literally were just one link on that chain. But when we're in that link, we need to make sure that we get the information correct, that we help it get from point A to point B in timely fashion with accurate information, that nothing happens to it. And when you look at that big picture, it's something else. It's kind of like, when you're watching a movie and finally you see that shot from space and you see the Earth, and I mean, you realize how small of a part you play, but up close, it's a pretty important part. And during that moment of your participation in that transaction, it's, as we talk about the problems, it can seem like, a mountain of a big deal. But it's good to know the perspective. Okay. So I also talk about understanding the difference between a dispatcher and a broker. Okay, let's highlight this. I'm going to try and highlight this stuff, and I'll try and let's see if I can make this a little larger. Can you see the screen okay there, Mike?
I do, yeah.
All right, cool. Now, again, I wrote this spreadsheet. Um, on the one hand, one could argue that, I could make a course, put a bow on it, sell it, and credit cards and this and that. I'm not doing that right now. Maybe later on, I don't know. Right now, this thing is free. All this information is free. So I hope it helps you, and it's serving as content. And this is also an experimental. This is the first time I'm ever presenting training module part 3. So I talk about the difference between a dispatcher and a broker. This gets confused a lot. You'll hear somebody refer to you as a broker. Mike, are you a broker?
No.
Are you a dispatcher?
Yeah.
Exactly. And to me and you, it's a clear difference. And I also want to say I try to be fair to brokers, but it seems like the more I talk about brokers, the more down on the broker I sound. I think the reverse is true. I think brokers get down on drivers and dispatchers. It's kind of part of some of the problems in our industry. That's okay. But it's important to understand the difference between a dispatcher and a broker, however you feel about it. Dispatchers manage logistics for carriers as a service. Brokers are agents for shippers at a commission. Brokers educate shippers and make sure they get accurate information and give accurate education to shippers. Dispatchers help carriers manage information and interact with the shipper and the broker. To me, it's easy to understand the difference. But anybody that doesn't understand the difference, leave a comment below or tell me I'm wrong. Man, you can tell me I'm wrong at any time because, again, I'm not the expert. I just say so. Okay. All right, car hauling dispatcher training by Auto Transport Intel continues. I put my little watermark in there. Okay. Dispatching is a partnership requiring trust. All right. The dispatcher and the driver have to trust each other. All right. We're now going to focus on, let's go back into micro view. We kind of talked about it macro. The dispatcher and the driver are a team talking every day. And if that's husband wife or if that's driver dispatcher, however you want to talk about that, those two people, because one manages the information and gets the loads and the other is moving the vehicles. Now, there's plenty of owner operators that are doing both, but as business grows, you'll find that suddenly you need two people as working as a team to handle that. Maybe you have two drivers and they do all the dispatching. But you got to trust each other. If that trust goes away, just like in any other important team situation, you have a problem. I mean, so, if you see the trust beginning to fade, you got to talk about it, and someone needs to explain what's happened to that trust. I mean, what's the problem? And be smart about taking on each driver and never overpromise about what you do and don't do. Now, right now as I talk about dispatching principles, I'm assuming that if you've gotten this far and you're still listening to me talk about dispatching, you're either trying to learn more about dispatching techniques, or you're starting up a dispatch business. And if you are starting a dispatch business and you're a dispatcher, never overpromise on what you will do and what you won't do. I've talked about boundaries with drivers, and right now I'm going to talk about that. Okay? Because if you are a dispatcher, if you overpromise, for example, do not tell drivers you handle FMCSA paperwork. You don't do the DOT, you don't do the MC, you don't do the IFTA. Yes, there are companies out there that do that, and those are more than one individual dispatcher. You're hiring a company. That's fine. But I'm talking about the individual dispatcher, which I think there's a larger amount of those, just like there's more owner operators than there are fleets. Do not get into that stuff. Your primary job is to look for cars, book them, verify them, and then move on to the next car. You book cars. You make money by each car that you book. You're there to book cars and get as much money as you can. That's your job. So never promise, never guarantee, and don't lie to your driver, which is one of the reasons why I don't want to collect the money. I work for a driver and I book cars. The driver collects the money, has the insurance, has the authority. It's the driver's business. If I start collecting money, guess what? Now I become more like the broker, and I start to take on some of those other concerns where, unfortunately, I think the biggest problem of being a broker is you don't want anybody to talk to each other, or know, you don't want people to talk about how much money is changing hands. I'm going to charge the shipper $2,000, and I'm going to give the driver $1,000, and I don't want anybody talking about it. That's not, a dispatcher should never be in that position, which I think is why sometimes dispatchers get mistaken for brokers. Don't do that. If you're going to have a dispatching business, I recommend 5 good drivers of various sizes. Have a 3 car, 5 car, maybe a 9 car, maybe a single car, maybe a 2 car enclosed. It's good to have a variety. Although, I mean, you can do 5 9 cars if you want to. I don't recommend that. I like the variety because that's also going to help with the way you're getting paid, the amount of money you're bringing in, the amount of stress you're taking on, and in fact, I wouldn't have all the drivers in the same area. I think it's good to work around the map, and then we're going to talk about working out of your comfort zone. Also, it's important to learn about car hauling software and driver technologies. You need to start learning about different driver dashboards, load boards, mobile apps, ELD. What's ELD? What are they putting in their ELD? Check out dispatchmonkey.com. See how that can help you. Look at other apps. If your driver says, hey, you should check out DriveWise. Ever heard of DriveWise? No, but I want to see it. PC Miler, any app that your driver might be using, you want to learn what's he using. What's he using it for? Why is he using it? What's important to him about it? And you've got to know the top 5 load boards. I actually, one of my next videos, I'm still in the middle of working on it, is the top 5 load boards. You know what I'm talking about. I can run through it anytime. Central Dispatch, One Dispatch, Cars Arrive, United Road, Metro Loads, and actually number 6, which is rapidly becoming number 5, is Ship.Cars. Let's pull that up again. I've got their load board screen pulled up. I'm actually in the middle of getting more familiar with Ship.Cars, and I recommend that you do as well. I think that, I don't know when they released it. I think it's pretty new, but this is rapidly going to become number 5. Maybe number 4. I don't know. United Road has a lot of loads. So if you don't know load boards or technology, Auto Transport Intel is a perfect place to learn these things, get more familiar. I recommend Googling. And right now, Mike, I'm talking to you, Mike, but I'm talking to the audience. I'm just talking in general. This is what I would say, right? If I was standing at a podium, these are the things that I would be saying, because there's so many things to consider. So I'm just going to keep going with my word salad, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool. All right, so and make sure with those 5 load boards, with the top 5, you want to make sure that any driver you take on gets signed up, and each load board is different. With Central Dispatch, basically the biggest problem with Central Dispatch is the cost, and I make that no secret. It's great. You can search loads, and you've got different search criteria, which is great, but the cost is going to be a problem. So I guess to make your driver feel rounded out and make sure that they can get whatever They see on Central, because you're going to see loads posted by one dispatch, but you need to be hooked up with one dispatch to book their loads. Same thing with Cars Arrive. Same thing with United Road. Same thing with Metro Loads. So you want to help your drivers get signed up with the top 5 load boards. Also, after you get them signed up, you have to sharpen your ability to negotiate and leverage the benefits of each load board. I talked about negotiation in training module part 2. And so, if you have questions about that, I recommend going back to part 2, or you can always ask me a question, send me an email. And right now, I apologize, you guys, I'm not really looking in the chat. I will do that though, so if you have a question, please chat it. I'm going to go back through the chat in a little bit, but right now I'm just on a roll talking about these items and bullet points. But negotiation is such a big part of this job. If I could, and I think down here I kind of sum up what you do. If you have a mission and a purpose, negotiation is one of the 3. If there is a trifecta, negotiation, being a good detective, and representing your carrier's company. Those are the top 3 things that you have to master if you plan on being an expert dispatcher or just a good dispatcher, the kind of dispatcher that doesn't lose their mind. And believe me, I freak out all the time. I don't like it. And that's actually, I wrote some of these things to help remind myself what would make me perfect. I'm not perfect, clearly. Um, but I do believe that practicing some of these things will help make you close to perfect. And negotiation, and you know what? In negotiation, I think one of the main pieces of being a tough negotiator is just being ready to walk away. I was talking to somebody today, and I said, "Hey, I'm calling about a load." And they said, "What's your company name?" And I gave them, here's my company name, but I do have a few questions. Okay, go ahead. And now I'm taking control of the conversation. What kind of pickup location is it? And the rate you have posted, the driver has concerns. He's asking for more money. And the answer was, well, that's the posted rate. And I said, okay, well, is there any number you want me to go back to the driver with? And they said, nope, this is what we always move it at, easy peasy, 1, 2, 3. And I said, okay, well, if there's no number you want me to take back to the driver, then I appreciate your time, and I'm going to call the next load. And there you go. I mean, just, you got to be able to walk away. And I hate doing it sometimes. I really do want that car. But what I've at least done is established that, okay, well, I'm not going to go down some pathway of promises. I'm not doing it. I hate promising and guaranteeing, and I won't do it. So from the beginning, establishing these are my terms. You have terms. Clearly, you have terms. Well, I have terms too. So that's a big part of it. And I did say here, Central Dispatch has the volume. I mean, that is the master list of loads. It has been for years. It still is today in 2018. I don't know when it'll change. I don't know if it'll ever change. I hope Central Dispatch is starting to watch this show, because there's a lot that needs to change, and I'm positive things are going to start changing. We're seeing new technologies. We're seeing, with ELD, I think ELD is a game changer. And with the talk about autonomous vehicles, we're seeing Amazon, we're seeing Uber Freight. Things are changing. I don't know if this place is going to look like in 2 years, but it is not going to be what it is right now. So I want to be part of the solution by pointing out some of the problems. I really do. Cars Arrive has good money 24/7, but not enough volume. Ready Auto, same thing, good money well, not as good as money as Cars Arrive. The thing is, Cars Arrive is actually hard to get signed up with because of the insurance. Ready Auto has more repo, and therefore, I had another one today. I mean, I think there's too much repo on Ready Auto, and Ready Auto is unable to educate repo lots and get them to move cars and incentivize those moves. Something's got to change there also. I don't know what will. maybe nothing will. Maybe repo lots will get so stacked full of vehicles that they'll eventually be like, please just come take it. We're gonna work instead of 2 hours a week, we're gonna work 4 hours a week. Okay, I know that's not fair. I know you guys are working. You're picking up cars, you're towing cars, you're getting vehicles, but I don't know. You're gonna have to get somebody to stay at the office. I don't know. Send me an email. autotransportintel@gmail.com. Tell me where I'm wrong. I know I must be wrong about something. United Road can really help you fill up your trailer. They got CarMax contract, most of it. You'll find some other CarMax cars on a couple other brokers, but that's a huge contract. I know they have other big contracts. They got a lot of agents. They move a lot of cars. You want to be signed up with United Road. And Metrogistics is a growing company. I talk about Mix, and I'm not going to stop talking about Mix. But Metro, you will see their cars, and they are expanding. They've already acquired a couple other companies, or at least their parent company has. I apologize if I got that wrong, but they are a growing company. And Ship.Cars, you want to sign up with Ship.Cars. It's free, and it's very progressive. I like what I see them doing. This is not an emotional comment. This is a business comment. I would sign up with Ship.Cars. So, and within those load boards, especially Central Dispatch, understanding all the different search criteria, there's a lot of fields here, and even I recently learned that if I put dollar amounts into the minimum total pay, I'm going to stop seeing those dumb $100 cars. I don't want $100 cars, and I know my drivers don't want $100 cars. So if you understand how to use all your search criteria, you definitely want to use highlighting. You can even sort by different criteria. Learn your search criteria, and that's how you become an expert dispatcher. Okay, let's move on to the next segment. Always respect your driver's expenses. What do you guys think about that, drivers? Here, I'm going to read some chat. Let's see. Okay, the Edziel said hello to Mike. Oh, you can help with the shirts? All right. Thank you. Well, you've already helped, Kimberly, and you're going to keep helping. And, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get some of these guys' shirts. Let's see here. Evening. Oh, Roxy's with us. Yeah, Roxy. I saw some great comments from you recently. Rodrigo's with us. Awesome. And cool. I wish I had my translator in the chat. Google Translate is amazing. I could copy and paste, but then I'd be having a one-on-one conversation, and that's one of the things I like about YouTube live streaming is I can stand at the podium and talk to you guys, and do whatever I'm doing up here. Marius, hello, welcome to the show. Novada Vincorp, you like this? That's awesome, man. Thank you. Dealing with repo is a waste of time. It's not worth it. I know. It really feels that way. And you know what really sucks about a lot of the repo loads is they're not even priced very well. It's like it's priced the same as a regular car, maybe a dealer. Oh, I'm getting a text on my phone. So it might be priced similar to a dealer car. Plus, it might be inoperable. Plus, I got to do the 24-hour advance notice, 1 hour out, pretty please, sugar on top. And then I don't even know if you'll answer the phone. I don't know. I might leave a message. I might not. You don't even know. You can't even tell if it's. You don't even know you're calling the right location. It just, you get, I don't want to get into, it's crazy, right? Okay, and then you go through all that. You actually pick up the car, and then maybe it's actually more inoperable than listed. Repo. Gosh. I think I put it, what's crazy? Yeah. I actually put repo above Copart. I might want to rethink that. Repo's probably at the bottom. I don't know. Copart, man, that is neck and neck. But I've moved several Copart cars that are actually surprisingly good. So I don't know. What are you gonna do, Mike? Have you booked a Copart car yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did it go?
Pretty good. Yeah, in Pennsylvania, I actually book a lot of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you done a repo car?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, you haven't had the pleasure?
No. I
Okay.
don't, yeah, no.
Do you know what a repo car is?
Uh, yeah, I know if you don't make your payment, they'll repo it.
That's exactly what a repo car is. That's right. If you don't
Yeah.
make your payments, they'll repo your car. And we all know from, I mean, personally, from reality television, that's how I personally know repo. I mean, you feel like you can, if you don't make your payments, you got somebody showing up in the middle of the night and they're just going to take your car, right? And now that car ends up at a lot, and now you're a dispatcher, and you book this car, and you don't know it's a repo car until you have the dispatch. That's another thing I hate about repo cars is you can end up with the dispatch and you don't even know it's a repo car until you have the dispatch.
Hmm.
Same thing with a Copart car. Have you ever booked a Copart car and you didn't know it was a Copart car until you had the dispatch?
Yeah, actually, I think I have.
Right? And don't you kind of feel tricked?
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel tricked, which is that's kind of your beginning into what it's going to be like to be a dispatcher. Being a dispatcher is kind of like regularly being tricked. And the goal is to not be tricked so much. That's why when I call, and you heard me say this in I think part 2, when I call and it's part of the negotiation, hey, I'm calling about a load on Central. What's your company name? We'll send it right over. Hey, not so fast. What kind of pickup location is it? Auction? Okay, what kind of auction is it? I think it's a Copart. That's what they say. I think it's a Copart. Really, you think it's a Copart? Because you only moved like 1,000 Copart cars. You think it's a Copart? All right, all right. I'm going to go one further. Let's go ahead and play the game. Is it a run and drive? Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so anyways, I mean that's the thing is these cars and repo has got to be the toughest one is you end up with a repo car and suddenly you end up with a much longer uh what transaction than need be. You just want to book a car, put it on the trailer and get to the next car. Man, I think I got sidetracked here. Oh, I was reading the I love Copart cars. Only thing is always checking by lot number on their website how the car is looking. Isn't that the truth? Don't you hate it when you can't get the lot number? Do you get the lot numbers and look on the website, Mike?
I do, yeah. I
Yeah.
do.
Oh, that. Now you can do that with IAA and Copart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's a huge part of it. That's a good point, Novative. Thanks for the comment. I do appreciate that, and that's absolutely true and necessary. Um, Jose says, not sure if this question has been asked, but I'm located in Chicago. Was curious to see if the market allows to stay regional and still be profitable. I'm going to go ahead and say this. Almost any region, the answer is yes. And in Chicago, yes. I knew a three, four, five car. He would run from Chicago to Kansas City, Chicago, Minneapolis, Chicago, Indianapolis. You can go to Michigan. I mean, you could stay. There's a ton of stuff going on there. The thing is, you want to when you get into regions like that, you want to make sure you know where the tolls are, and also want to look into a few bridges. So make sure you have an app like DriveWise or PC Miler to help make sure that you don't screw up some of those things, and something becomes much more expensive, and totally just takes out your profitability. But anything you do over time, you're just going to be better at it anyways. But yeah, I would say that would work out. And if you guys have comments, you can comment below the video, or right now, anybody in the live chat, whether you agree, disagree, or have anything to add would be great. Ron says yes, the lot number is the best. Yeah, it really is. And this is where Central Dispatch could really help us all out. If it's an IAA or Copart car, the broker already knows. Okay, the broker knows it's an IAA or Copart car, and so if when listed on Central, it just said it IAA or Copart, color code, circles, exclamation marks, dollar signs, whatever, that would really help. And in that process, make sure the broker can provide the lot number. So maybe if I'm looking at the car and I'm serious, maybe I can just get the lot number sent to me. I don't know exactly how this works, but there's plenty of room for improvement of product to do this.
Right.
And here's the thing is that another reason why I hope Central Dispatch thinks about some of the things that I say on this show is that I know drivers are worried that if you make any improvements, you're just going to jack up the price more. And maybe that'll happen. I don't know. But when you get to $200 a month, I'm pretty sure there's a developer right around the corner that is going to change things. And that might be like tonight or yesterday morning. I don't know. But things like that where carriers can know more about the pickup location instead of having to ask every time would be so beneficial. You can even see brokers are trying to help carriers in many instances by writing it in the info. So the order ID, and then they're saying things about the vehicle. So they're trying, but they're using a system that doesn't allow them to help, which is interesting. So let's talk about driver's expenses. Okay, this is another area. Most of the things on Expert Part 3 are pieces that I didn't know or think about when I started. And when I started, I did not think about what it cost carriers to transport cars. I'm just being honest, okay? I didn't think about tires. I didn't think about fuel. I didn't think about licensing. I certainly didn't think about insurance. The only time I thought about insurance was when I needed a certificate. But I didn't think about the cost or the down payments of the truck or the trailer or the maintenance. Oh my gosh, the breakdowns. You learn all that through time. So when a driver talks about his expenses, you have to respect that and take notes and learn it. And I'm also, as I say this, I'm really interested in June talking about drivers' expenses, listing them, putting some ranges so that we can all start to understand the driver's expenses are such a big part of this that when you're booking a car and you're negotiating hard, this is not just extra money so we can all go out and party. This is money that the driver has to get. You will hear a broker or shipper say, well, the shipper, I mean, I made a promise, we got a guarantee. Okay, well, that's fine. Because let me tell you that the driver has definite needs. In fact, more needs than anybody here. I know the shippers are already, moving their house or bought the plane tickets or whatever. They're going to be a guest on The Price is Right and hang out for a week. I don't know what the reason is they're moving, but they have a price in mind, and that's fine. And you've quoted them a price. You made a guarantee. That's fine too. But the driver's expenses are more real than anything we're talking about. The driver's expenses override every other dollar amount that has been so far either discussed or put on the load board. And that's just the truth. So learn their long list of expenses, think of their business as an accounting balance sheet, and do not dismiss their concerns. And I've done that. There has been a time when a driver has told me their expenses, and I'm just like, oh God, man, when can I go to lunch? But you can't do that. I mean, it's not the right thing to do. Know the cost of the truck and trailer with monthly payments, annual cost of insurance, fuel, maintenance, licensing, taxes, tires, and parking. Oh man, parking's going up. ELD, dude. Oh, tolls. So, in fact, let's add that. Let's add ELD, tolls, etc. In fact, etc. should have 3 exclamation marks. Let's go ahead and make that happen. Okay. So, speaking of ELD, another area that a beginning dispatcher is not familiar with is hours of service and Department of Transportation regulations. That goes with the FMCSA, the DOT. We do not know. I mean, it's gigantic what they expect a carrier to understand as far as volume of information. So I say study the FMCSA Improving Highway Safety PDF. Where do we find that? Let's go to fmcsa.dot.gov. Okay, let's pull up that site. Let's go ahead and minimize this. Let's go to, all right, I believe you go to registration and getting started. Okay, let's click on that. And you got what are the steps? And okay, these are the steps for the FMCSA registration process. Okay, so now that I've looked up the steps, let's look up, is it licensing overview and resources? I think it is. This is such a big website. Okay. All right. Pressure. I have to find this because I brought it up. So let's go to regulations. And if anybody knows, feel free to chat and save me. Is it regulations and interpretations? Oh, yeah. There's the electronic code of federal regulations. Drug and alcohol testing. We're looking for, okay, I think I can actually search it. This is good. Highway safety. Improving highway safety. Improving highway safety. And let's search it. Okay, there we go. A motor carrier's guide to improving highway safety. Here we go. Click on the link to the PDF and go to town on how many pages? 162 pages. There we go. And I mean, open this up and start. Don't print it. For God's sakes, don't print it. Just save the PDF and start reading. And you know, you've got your appendix, and you are going to learn about all kinds of fascinating, wonderful stuff that the driver is responsible to know all this. When a driver gets to a DOT scale, or has an inspection, or has his audit, they're going to expect him to know that stuff. So as a dispatcher, respect the process and understand a little bit more about what the driver is thinking and has to know, and it will help everybody. Also, you want to use Safer Sys. Now, I learned about this through Metrogistics. You go to, if you type in Safer Sys, just Safer Sys, and you hit enter on Google, you Google Safer Sys, and it takes you to the safer web, you know, warning, warning, warning. Okay, here we are. We're at safer.fmcsa.dot.gov. Again, this is part of the FMCSA, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, which the FMCSA, if they're the lawmakers, the DOT are the enforcers, all right? And at this website, you want to go to Company Snapshot, and you can type in a DOT number, an MC authority number, or a company name, enter that in, search it, and see information about the company, their status, are they running authority, do they have problems with, you know, are they not categorized correctly for motor vehicles, etc. Important resource. And you need to also understand things like 34-hour reset. This gets into hour of service, that they have to take a 30-minute break. Understand that, what is it? To help me out here, guys, you can drive 11 hours, but you have to take your 30-minute break sometime during the first 8 hours. And then you have to have your 34-hour reset after, I believe it's 70 hours. So, you know, brushing, if you don't know it, clearly I don't know it all cold, because I don't drive. I sit at a desk. But ask your driver, talk to your driver, admit to your driver that you don't know, right? Say, I don't know. Help me out. And, you know, that helps create part of that trust. Because, you know, when you don't know what you don't know, right? I love that one. Know what you know, don't know what you don't know, whatever. But talk to your driver and understand the whole point of this is not to know every regulation. The whole point of this is to understand what the driver's thinking about, what they're going through, to understand what their pain points are, and what is costing them, what is their cost of doing business. And especially Find out what is the cost of a violation. Really? If I overbook your weight, what is the violation? If you're going to be if you're going to have overhang, what is the violation? What is the cost? This stuff is actually really scary. Um, and ELD violations are insane. I am never going to agree with the fees associated with ELD citations. It's out of control. Um, but drivers have to respect scales, bridge height, being overweight. This is not just booking a car and then forget about it. Not even close. So when you think of what a driver has to know and respect and consider to be a great dispatcher is really to get to know all of these concerns intimately, and every car you book, you try to think a little bit about, wow, I really do need to get these delivery locations closer together. It's not just about, gold bars that deliver states away from each other. That's not going to work. We're going to end up with other problems. And the threat of being out of service is not an option. Um, the cost of cargo insurance. What does the $1 million liability really cover? What's the purpose of it? What's general liability? And ultimately, where laws meet expenses. Because what's interesting in the world, no matter what you do, laws meet expenses. I mean, ultimately, when business partners, have a total falling out and they're sitting at the table with the lawyers, this is where laws meet expenses. Unfortunately, many things end up at the conference table with lawyers discussing where laws meet expenses, but hopefully it doesn't have to come to that. But at least, again, perspective and philosophy of the workplace and what we're doing will really help us in the minutia of just booking cars. So, there we go. Okay, let's look at the chat again. What do we got? Used to haul. What'd I say? Haul cars? All right, used to haul cars, now a broker, so I already know what I need to give to the driver. And that's awesome. That is awesome, Ron. Sean knows a lot about dispatching, brokering, and he's also a driver. When you have those past experiences and you can apply them to the different perspective of what you're doing, it's amazing. So it's great, Ron. I mean, you don't need a dispatcher. Not everybody needs a dispatcher. This show is not saying everybody needs a dispatcher. Certainly not. Just like not all car shipping customers need a broker. Newsflash, not everybody needs a broker. I mean, dealers list it themselves. They are the broker. They don't need a broker. But some dealers have brokers. So, I'm not saying a position has to be there, but that's cool, Ron. Be interesting to talk to you more. Central Dispatch is cheap. Yeah. Not all the time, though, but it feels that way. But it is the leftovers. You take the garbage can and dump it on the conveyor belt, and that's what some load boards feel like. I saw the channel has evolved a lot since the last time you watched. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Well, I'm trying. I'm really trying. So I really do appreciate that. You printed it. That's crazy. It's still printing. You'll be printing when this show is over. I did a load of 9 Copart and IA last week and loved it. Loaded in less than 45 minutes, had 6 drops, which kind of sucked, but it was pretty quick and easy. That's cool. You know what? And that's cool. That's the thing is, I mean, nothing I say is 100% or in stone. In fact, there's still people wondering where the word expert was even, why it was even mentioned as part of this show. Cost of overweight citation depends on the state. Most states charge per pound, which is interesting. Sounds little, but when you get into thousands of pounds, you guys know. I don't know how much some of those overweight citations are, but I know a driver, and I still feel bad about it. There was a driver I worked with, and these buses had electric batteries. They didn't use conventional fuel tanks, but these really heavy electric batteries, and we ended up overweight. It was crazy. Oh my God, it was terrible. Oh, shoot, man. Just when you think you've got it, you know? Brokers don't that all the time. Basically, they're trying to keep more of the money. When they do that to me, I just politely tell them it doesn't work for me and thanks, then I hang up. So, yeah, politely hang up. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the problems. But that's capitalism, and that's fine. That's another show. But, capitalism is part of, you know, capitalism is part of America. We live in America. It's part of where we are. And, that's what this is a business, This is not a charity. So, unfortunately. You can't change. Okay, we're going to go to another section. This is going to be a tough section. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry this one's going to be tough. Okay, I'm talking to dispatchers. Okay, but when I say this, just think about, you apply this to the different parts of the ecosystem. Dispatchers, you can't change a driver. Just like the driver can't change you. All right? You got to learn how to work alongside your driver's personality, or you're going to have to part ways and move on. I have worked with so many drivers through my recent years of dispatching, and man, I mean, there's been drivers we just did not get along, and then there's drivers that over time we got along. But then there's drivers that I knew they did not know what they were saying, but they were convinced of it, and they felt the same way about me. And I know I worked with a driver early on, and he, I think I'm lucky that he let me dispatch for him. It goes both ways. But ultimately, if you can't get into a groove, and this is where I say working with a driver is similar to dating and has the same type of red flags, okay? Don't take it the wrong way, but if you got a lack of miscommunication, a lot of misunderstandings, if you get to yelling and arguing, maybe it's not going to work out. And that's okay. I mean, you know what? Not everything's going to work out. And you just have to realize it, move on, talk about it, because really, you are both, especially the dispatcher for the driver, you are there. A part of what you do is moral support. Um, it's not your job, but the understanding and the empathy of the expenses is an important part. So if you just flat out hate the guy you're working with, I would probably come up with an end date and, just do it, man. It's like moving or quitting a job, it's going to have to end. You need to have a good relationship with your driver. It's like a good friend that respects your boundaries. That's a big part of it too. It's interesting that you've got to, if you spend all the time on the phone talking, you can't do other things like book cars. So you got to have understanding of communication and boundaries, and whether it's okay, I can't get another gold bar, I don't want to hear let's get another gold bar, let's swing for the fences. I'm doing the best I can, but I need you to respect that I'm going to do the best I can. I don't want to be asked about the backhaul every time I wake up. Okay? And don't cuss out your driver. Even if you want to, do not cuss out your driver. If you find yourself cussing out your driver, or if you find your driver cussing you out, all right, I think that this relationship's about to end. It's just, it's already hard enough. You have to be a team. In a real driver-dispatcher relationship, if a load needs to be canceled or there's a broker problem, I believe that the driver and the dispatch need to be able to agree on how to take care of business. And personally, when I need to cancel a car, let's say I need to cancel. Maybe it's my fault, maybe it's the driver's fault, maybe it's nobody's fault, maybe it's a repo. I don't know what the problem is. Maybe the truck broke down, but half the time I actually don't make that call. I ask the driver to do it. I think that there's a lot of times that a broker would actually rather hear from the driver. Because actually, a broker is going to believe a driver more than a dispatcher. And that, I think that's just the plain truth. A lot of brokers don't trust dispatchers. That's why you'll find shippers asking dispatchers if they're brokers, because that is a way, that's the beginning of saying, I don't trust you. Okay? So, work as a team in everything. And if that means getting the dispatch, whatever it is. But also, be an in conclusion type of communicator because you need to keep moving with action. So, we could, let's say we're giving a speech and we're rambling on. I'm rambling. But even though I'm rambling, I'm still getting to the next piece or point because I have to. And I do that with loads, with cars, whether we're discussing a route, whatever's happening. In conclusion, in summation, okay, so what we're saying is I'm going to book these two cars and we're going to forget about that other car. All right, man, I'll talk to you later. And then get on to the phone call. In conclusion, all right? So, I mean, I think that that's just a big part of communicating and getting through the dispatch day. Because suddenly your phone is ringing, you're getting emails, you're seeing loads disappear. You don't have time to stay on one thing too long. This is like Frogger, okay? When a driver says he missed his turn, get off the phone. I say this all the time. If a driver says, oh man, I just missed my exit, I'm saying, let's get off the phone. It happens all the time. And it's part of, things are moving fast, all right? And so just move fast with things. If this job isn't for everybody. If you don't want to be an in conclusion type of communicator, don't get into dispatching. Does that make sense to you, Mike?
Right, yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Teaching and here, this one's okay. This is an ugly one. Teaching an undisciplined driver to be disciplined is not easy. I'll say teaching an undisciplined dispatcher to be disciplined is not easy. You guys know what I'm saying. Teaching discipline is really hard. I don't know how we learn discipline, man. I don't know how stuff gets through the thick skull, but I guess eventually it does. But being the one thinking you can make someone change or gain discipline or whatever large philosophy you want somebody to suddenly adopt, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Don't think it's going to. Some new drivers don't understand the tight timelines, and some will never get better. And I'm talking to a few specific dispatchers that have, if you've got a driver that is not respecting a tight timeline, man, it's going to stay tough. And again, if you've got a dispatcher not respecting a tight timeline, it's going to be tough. It's not going to work out. I had a driver that this was a long time ago, but he just, man, let's make some real money. I'm ready to really work hard this week, and I'd work so hard on a route, and I'm booking cars, and then I'm providing him with the information, and he's like, oh yeah, no, whatever, and I'm freaking out, right? Okay, that's terrible. You got to be on the same page, all right? Recognize and understand there are driver and dispatcher work methods of always being late or high anxiety about getting cars booked, and it will not change. Listen, if you are having high anxiety in this job, whether you're a driver, a dispatcher, a broker, I think you need to re-examine your work method or what the amount of workload you're trying to take on, because regular high anxiety is a killer in this business. This is already a tough business, so recognize your anxiety level, and if then find if you need to. On one of my shows, I talked about pain management, which I think was my dispatch comedy show. I'm serious, man. Look into some pain management. If you've got to do this job and you've just got to take on the anxiety, find a way to cope and manage the stress. You cannot change your business partner. If they're running late, if they're always out of money, whatever it is, it's part of their style. You can't change it. Maybe you can find a way to work with it. You can't change people. And that finally brings me to my final window here, the chronic ye old book and cancel. That driver I was just talking about, and I had another driver. He was Mr. Book and Cancel. I mean, I would book. Oh, cancel. Oh, let go. Oh, yeah, I see this. Book. Oh, we just lost one. Cancel. It made me crazy. Clearly, I'm crazy when I talk. I'm crazy every time I talk about it. That's why I gave it a medieval name. Okay, now let's go check some. What has it got? His steering wheel holder. Bulldog Transport is in the house. Hey, Chris. Welcome to the show. That's awesome. The steering wheel holder is going to bed on the steering. That phrase kills me. You'll be at the Mannheim Ocoee in the AM if anybody wants to check out his rig. All right, so Sean will be at Mannheim Ocoee. If you're going to be there, send a message in the chat. How much can you make per week with a 3-car trailer? Oh, Alan. Oh, where do I begin? Let's do this. If you want to send me an email, autotransportintel@gmail.com. Give me your home city. We know it's a 3-car. Put that in the email. How many days a week you're willing to run. How much experience you've got. What running lanes you've already done. And I'll try to give you, I'll try and spitball a number for you. I grossed $4,300 last week with my 3-car hauler. I think that's good. I think that's really good. Good job, man. Chris, where are you at? I don't know if we know what area you're in or your running lane. That'll be interesting to hear. I used to have drive. You had a driver that didn't speak English well. That's tough, man. When you guys don't speak the same language. I literally had to call pickup and delivery and arrange everything. Sometimes I even signed in the app. Yeah, when people don't speak the same language, it's just a tough barrier to overcome. Which is why Davison at DP Dispatch, he's bilingual. So check out DP Dispatch. Using tablet for GPS and dispatch info to keep my phone free for conversation. Yeah, and actually that's a good idea too. That's why I've got the office phone. And then I've got a cell phone, which is only for drivers. I don't ever give out my cell phone. Don't do that. Have your office phone, have your cell phone, and I'll do both phones at the same time, texting, emailing, booking cars, using my mind control. Let's see, original tweet or Alan, a lot of factors in that question. Yeah, what's the GVWR, what regions you're running, and what else we got here? I do the same. My tablet is my business computer. I gross $5,000 with a 3-4. Oh, Boston, Philly, 5 days. Wow. But you have an AOBRD, right? Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. So you got 2 years to make money, and then 2019 is going to be a killer. I would say that just eating off the load boards you could do, depending on how you. Yeah, you can actually make money eating off the load boards. It's just that it's not. It's not a long-term strategy to just eat off the load boards. I said it in my last show that opening a restaurant and getting the ingredients out of the dumpster would be a terrible idea. Obviously, terrible idea. And I think, honestly, if you are taking on a truck payment, a trailer payment, insurance payments, all of the costs that go into this business, and you're just going to book off of load boards, I think that's a serious strategic problem. I really do. And yet I've been doing it. I've been working that way for years, which is why I've now resorted to talking crazy. It's not a good idea. Don't do that. But you can do it, and some people are, it's fine. Disagree with me. Do it. Best of luck. Seriously, I really mean that. Best of luck. It's just that I am saying, see if you can find a customer, and then you have that consistency. You're not as stressed out. Might be home more. Wow, wouldn't that be cool to be home more? It'd be cool. Are you coming down south? I'm in Fort Lauderdale. 9,300 last week with a 9-car. Dang, dude, that's awesome. But a 9-car can make $10,000 a week. It's not the standard, and it's not easy, but it is doable. That's awesome, man. Austin, Texas, running back and forth from Houston. Oh, wow. Nice. So, yeah, we do know the shorter the distance, usually the higher price per mile. If it's not that way, don't book it. Thank you. I'm doing fine. Friend is helping me with dispatch. I'm doing around $6,000 a week. Awesome. That's awesome. And listen, your dispatcher, tell them to check out Auto Transport Intel. Everybody I talk to, everything I do, research-wise, you name it, I always learn something. And so, let's just keep sharing information. And together we can be an expert. All right. That's so fun. I'm so glad I got that Facebook comment and I saw that before the show, because I'm not saying I'm the expert, but I do think that if you take all this information into account and consider it, you're on your way to being an expert. I do believe that. Okay, so let's see here. How to navigate auto transport. You guys have probably been reading this without me. That's cool. All right, so listen. Some things are not going to go your way. Some cars are not going to be ready. Some shippers will not negotiate. Some people are not cool. That's the way it is. That is life, and that is the way it is. When things when things aren't going your way with booking loads, and it's going to happen. Happens to me all the time, all too often, because I'm booking off the load boards. Use communication to estimate how much time you really have left, and don't panic. You work hard and focus. So here I am. I got a driver that's going to be delivering and needs cars to be picking up, and nothing's working out, and I'm freaking out. Nothing's being listed, or I can't get the rates that we need. Don't panic. I try not to panic. I don't really know any formal meditation techniques, but I'm open to it. If you call to book a load and they say it just got dispatched, say thank you. Don't whine and cry and act crazy. The sun does not rise and set on a car that you just found, right? It's amazing how attached we can get to a car that just got listed, and we love the money so much we're like, tearing our eyes out to get this car. Well, yeah, you work hard to get it, but you won't get them all. I say this all the time. Dave knows I say it. I say it all the time. Just because you see it doesn't mean you can have it. And doesn't that apply to life? Be polite, call people back, try to be nice, but also talk about reality. And I do this with repo lots like every time now. In fact, I bet your repo lot, there's got to be a repo lot somewhere. Like, did you hear that dispatcher say to me that we're not here often enough, and we got to understand that this is auto transport? Did you hear that, crazy guy? But I mean, it's reality, man. I match expectation with honesty and facts. I'm just keeping it real. Take it or leave it, and I try not to be sarcastic, although it happens. I mean, if you watch this show, I mean, I'm bordering on. People say to me all the time, "Are you being serious?" Actually, that's usually when I'm being serious, is when people think I'm not. So, whatever. What can you do? But I try to keep it real, and I am the messenger. And sometimes I'm going to get killed for delivering bad news. I just have to accept that. So what? Drivers face a ton of challenges on the road. Life isn't perfect. At least I'm sitting at a desk instead of a DOT scale being told I might be put out of service. That's when life gets really real. And again, that's what this channel's all about, is trying to tell everybody in the ecosystem, the customer at home that wants the car picked up at 9:05 a.m. at the door with a fresh hot pizza in the passenger seat on delivery. Listen, man, it's a hard industry. There are a million crazy things. So as a dispatcher, let's keep it real. Approach a problem and resolve a problem scientifically. Like a lab, like those labs we all hated, where if you turn on the Bunsen burner, it's gonna blow up the thing or whatever. This is a scientific situation. If the car, listen, if the tire is bent on the axle, the driver can't drive it up the ramps. I mean, these are laws of nature. That's just the way it is. So yeah, it may seem like a no big deal, but it's a really big deal. It's a scientific problem. And I don't want to get emotional about it. I'm trying to be articulate. I'm trying to communicate. Let's all breathe and practice meditation, because the objective here is to book a car. Listen, I have booked a car. It's picking up at a residence. I call the residence, and the resident is literally flipping out. Like, come on. You guys know what I'm talking about. You've dealt with a resident that's literally at the end of their rope. Like, I think that this car move is going to push them into the funny house. And if it's really going to be this big of a deal, I'll call the broker back. You know what, man? Listen, I'm serious. We're just moving a car. We're a transport company. We're not like a mobile psychological station. All right. So if it's going to be that big of a deal, we're just going to cancel. We're going to move something else, man. I'm just keeping it real because we all need to breathe and be calm. It's just a transport. Which I think I've actually said that to a resident. Which, I mean, we got through it, but it was weird. Okay, only say words that are factual and necessary. Mike, I said this to you earlier. Why did I say this to you earlier? Keep it vague.
What's that? Only say words that are factual?
Only say words that are factual and necessary.
Yeah, so you don't overpromise.
It happened. What's one of the things I think that's tough in this industry, many industries, is people are trying to get you to promise. They're trying to get you to actually take less money and promise more. You're just constantly being pushed. And I know my very first dispatch, I'll never forget it. I booked a Tahoe that actually had no wheels and was sitting in a field. True story. And I booked it and actually sent the driver there. And the driver called and was like, he was cool, thank goodness. But I think he said, that new guy, Jay? Well, I think he needs a little more training because this Tahoe has no tires and is sitting in a field. So, but the broker got me to book that. And I don't know if it's the broker's fault, I don't know. But, this goes with, and actually, I think the broker practiced this. It is a Tahoe, and it is ready for transport. So, I mean, those are facts. Well, so it goes both ways. So in this case, how about this question? Is the driver at location? Yes. But meanwhile, I mean, broke down, but okay, the driver's out. Do you have the dispatch sheet? Yes. So it's like the fine print on your cell phone or anything else. Just state words that are factual and necessary because literally you are trying to buy time so you can think ahead, keep your options open, and not get trapped in a he said, she said. You don't want to get trapped in a he said, she said. Just facts, information, keep calm, don't overpromise. I've been saying don't. I think since the moment we began talking, I've been saying don't overpromise.
Right.
Man, just never do that. All right, so then we get into cancellations and breakdown of equipment costs. Cancellations and breakdowns of equipment costs everybody money. So don't just think of yourself. It costs the driver money, the broker money, the shipper money, the dispatcher money. It costs everybody money. So this is where empathy, compassion, facts, and necessary information are a good idea. Cars are going to be late, and damages are going to happen. Parts are going to break. The world isn't perfect. People screw up. Shippers, brokers, drivers, and dispatchers. However, there's a difference between being sloppy and something being an accident. And to help with that process, and sometimes, it's kind of like that, there was that meme, like a bolt, just one bolt can make the difference between 1 hour and 3 days. So that's why you don't book $100 cars or stupid connection loads. Don't do it, man. If the truck has to deadhead 50 miles, fine. Because if it's only $75 cars, don't book them. Don't do it. It's not worth it, man. Don't do that stuff. Avoid any possible accident. Do due diligence. Otherwise, if you do sloppy dispatching, you might cause an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. All right, if you are canceling, pick up the phone. This gets into the messenger business. Don't email a cancellation. Don't text it. Call. Let them yell at you, or whatever has to happen. Texting and emailing is a great way to save money and time, but not a great way to communicate bad news. Just show some respect, make the phone call, take the lumps. Actually, making a phone call and apologizing and talking with facts and science can actually help avoid a negative. And that's happened with me before. I've had a broker say, "I'm mad, but I appreciate you telling me what's going on."
Mm-hmm.
No soup for you. Okay. People will lie. So find the truth and move on. Decide how long you can wait before you get the dispatch or before you accept the dispatch. Know your timelines. Be thinking about the moving parts. I know that if you're dispatching, if you're 90 days into dispatching, you already know this. But literally, like, be thinking about those moving parts. And you're in between. You've got somebody sent you the dispatch and is saying, accept the dispatch. I need you to accept the dispatch. And on the other end of it, you're like, well, I don't want to accept it yet. I want to wait. I want to wait. Okay, fine. I'm going to accept the dispatch. I'm going to pull these triggers. Well, let's make this happen. So it's part of the job. It creates stress and anxiety, but you also just accept it and, practice your meditation. And this is how you begin to become the dispatching expert. I do believe that your mission and purpose, if you negotiate hard, if you are a good detective, and you represent your carrier with professionalism, you will become the dispatching expert that your carrier and company needs you to become. Remember, you can book any car using these dispatching principles because sooner or later, you will have to book outside your comfort zone. Just like a driver's going to have to drive outside of their comfort zone sooner or later. It's part of life. It's part of this job. Do not fear the unknown. It's part of it. There are going to be there's going to be more unknown things tomorrow. Tomorrow contains more questions and unknown. Don't be afraid of it. You have to just go into it, apply your principles. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Make sure your phone works. This is the quickest way to get fired, all right? Check your headset, whatever. Check your communication. If you have technology that's not working, you will get fired. You will lose your client no matter what you're doing. I shouldn't have to say that, and I kind of put it in here because it's one of the quickest ways to do. If you're doing many other things correctly, but your phone doesn't work properly, man, that other stuff doesn't matter. And never say pick up today unless you are 100% positive. Because the brokers remember the dispatchers that cancel. That is one of the things in this industry. In fact, it's happened to me. I've had a broker say to me, "Hey, didn't you guys cancel on me? Like, there was that car a couple months ago, and already suddenly I'm not getting this dispatch. In fact, really, I just, you know what? I think we need this phone call to end peacefully, quietly, and I'm going to make a note. Yep, I'm not going to book with them anymore. I'm not going to call them anymore." It's a horrible position to be in, and it's all because I made a stupid promise that I'd pick up today. Even if we are picking up today, I just want to book it for, you know what? Let's say I'm gonna book it for pickup tomorrow, but is it ready today? I might say that. Make sure it's ready to ship before you celebrate. Nothing makes me crazier than we say, you know what? this is what we're going to do. We're going to book these cars. It's going to be great. And now we go into a conversation. No. I draw that boundary. I need to book these cars. And I also need to make sure they're ready for pickup before we start to high five. You know, it's interesting. Sometimes the best way to realize how much you really want the load is to consider what happens when it's not available. That's another life skill, I think. You know, we see cars, and we might check mark some cars, and we see the ones that we might want to book, and think about if that one car is gone, that's going to ruin our whole concept. And if you realize that if that car does go away, if that's going to ruin your route, book it. Maybe don't negotiate so hard. Maybe don't swing for the fences on that one. Maybe that really already is a good anchor load. Maybe it's already at 80 cents a mile. I don't know what it is, but if it's really going to be that much of a killer, book it. And like I said earlier, experiment with search filtering criteria for best paying loads. There's a lot of search filters on Central Dispatch, so get to know them all. Even load boards, as the new load boards come out, learn how to use the search criteria to your advantage, and that includes saved searches. Always ask a driver. If I talk to a driver, let's say somebody sends me an email and, hey, I want you to book for me tomorrow, I am going to say, when are you going to be empty, and where are you going to be empty, and what are you looking at right now? Because, I mean, those are some of the most basic logistics. How many are you hauling, and where are you looking for your next pickup? So if you have a driver call you out of the blue and is ready, looking for help, that's your first question. When are you going to be empty, and what are you looking at right now? And listen, if you have to deliver bad news, and this is another good life skill, try to also deliver other positive information. So like if I've been searching for cars all day on a route and it's falling apart, it's awful. And I call the driver. Listen, you know what? This route is falling apart. I haven't found anything good. I know you want to pick up first thing in the morning, and I don't have anything booked. But I'll tell you what, I have noticed that we haven't looked at going to this place, but I've seen some loads, I've done some searches, and I'm seeing some loads that we might want to look at. We might want to change up our route, but I realize, you've got a certain timeline or expectation, so I try to do that. If I'm delivering bad news, try to also deliver some other information.
Yep.
Be smart about booking repo cars. I said this, it's a huge issue with the 24-hour advance notice plus 1 hour out. And I've talked about this. We've seen there's a couple brokers that talk about appointments to pick up a car and appointments to deliver a car. It's not going to change. Whoever talks about appointments, man, that's down there with repo. I mean, can you book a car and set a delivery appointment 2 days from now? I don't know, man. If you're able to do that, you really are an expert.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know how people say, oh gosh, I have a hard time remembering people's names, let's say you go to a party and, oh, hi, I'm John, hi, I'm Sarah, nice to meet you, Phil, what's up, Dave? You know what? What was the first person's name? Was it Sarah? Try to practice techniques of remembering people's names. Take notes if you need to, because that can be a big part of, as you move forward, booking with brokers or making good deals. And never stop making phone calls. Don't let yourself get rusty. Just pick up the phone and make a call. What I do when I'm training on that very first day, on the beginner day, when I have a dispatcher next to me observing for several hours, I force them to make a phone call before the end of the day. Just any kind of call. Maybe if they just kind of, maybe they throw up because they're so nervous. I don't care. You gotta pick up the phone. Because I don't understand if I talk to somebody, whether it's a driver or a member of a driver's family that I'm trying to help out and give advice, if you won't pick up the phone, if you have phone fear, phone freeze, you can't do this job if you're afraid of the phone. You've got to pick up the phone. Stay positive. I don't know how things work out, but they always do. I don't know. Man, I was putting this show together and I'm writing all this crazy stuff, and I don't know. Am I going to be able to do it? Am I going to be able to talk for 2 hours about all this stuff? I don't know. But it'll probably work out. Things just work out. I don't know how they do. Or they don't. You know? Or they don't. Always know the cars before you call the driver. Um, that's one thing. You know this, Mike. When you talk to a driver, I mean, they expect you to know something. You can't just call out of the blue after a whole day and you call, "What's up?" Right? I mean, they expect you to know something. You've got to know something. Even if it's that you didn't book anything. Well, what did you call? I mean, well, you know what? Here, I called this, I learned this, I did this. I drank this, I slept through this, I watched a movie, whatever it is. You got to know what you're talking about, and always be building routes. That should be second nature. I mean, you find yourself doing that, Mike, right? You're looking at cars and you're coming up with route ideas.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and you're always searching. I mean, that's how you start your day. That's how you end your day. And don't forget to check the weather. Oh, don't you hate it when you forget that? Like you book a great route and then, oh my God, he's driving into a tropical storm.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've done that.
Yeah.
No way, there's a blizzard. Oh man.
I started off with using, like the U.S. map, and I put thumbtacks color-coded where all the Mannheims are, Coparts, so I know if I'm sending a driver somewhere, I can see how far it would take to get to one of those places, because I know I could get something out of there,
Yeah. That's a good idea.
That's helped me a lot, actually.
That's a really good point. That's a good tip. Is that those techniques that you develop with with the map or getting to know areas? That's a great idea, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's cool, man. Work with your driver as a team and leverage each other's strengths. It's just like any other kind of team. Not everybody has the same skills. If the driver's really good, I tell you, I knew a guy that was really good at canceling loads, and I got to the point where if we needed to cancel a load, let's just have him do it. He's a master at it. Know what you're a master at, and go with it, and leverage those strengths. I think that's a big part of it. Being told, well, it's your job, so you have to do it. If that's the kind of team you have, I don't know. I don't think it's going to last forever. Report problems right away. Like if nobody's home, you got the wrong address, you got lied to, share information. And that's a lot like if you're delivering bad news, listen, we got lied to. Or I think I got lied to. Or you know what? I think I fell for it. And I feel so stupid. Alright, well then you owe me. Always check in with your drivers. This is like dispatcher 101. Do not I don't know what the number, I put 4 to 8 hours. It could be 4 hours. If it's silence between driver and dispatcher, if too much time goes by and you're currently working on a route together, you got a problem. Whether you text, email, phone call, smoke signal, Morse code, it doesn't matter. You got to be in some kind of communication. And here's another one. Don't freak out if your driver makes a huge mistake, like picking up the wrong car or taking the top off of a truck with a bridge. Don't freak out. This goes to don't cuss out your driver. Approach it. No emotion. Scientifically. Okay. So you hit a bridge, okay? Is the truck on fire now? Go turn into a 911 dispatcher. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This is OnStar. What's your emergency? Everything is blowing up. Okay. When you say everything, we're talking about what? All right. So, because there are days that are awful. There are really bad moments that come up. Take good notes, and this is with the dispatch sheet. When you have a dispatch sheet or you're verifying a load, if your driver needs to get the odometer reading, make sure you the communication of that information makes it to the driver. If they have to use a mobile app, if there's low ground clearance, if they need to mark damages on the gate pass, if they need to pick up the title and keys at the auto auction, if there's special hours, if there's special info. Have you learned some of this the hard way as far as information?
Yeah.
Doesn't that suck?
Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah. I've so many times I've been caught where, oh my God, you're right. I did not say mark the damages on the gate pass. In fact, I didn't even know what that meant, right? The first time I heard it, I don't know what that is. What's a gate pass? What do you mean mark damages on the gate pass? So when you see these notes, and if you don't know what something means, this gets into other principles. Ask your driver, say, oh my gosh, I saw this. It sounds important. And this is where I think it's funny to blow off the fine print, but you can't do it. You should read it. You should read the fine print so that you learn things like that. Be patient, work hard, listen and learn. Ride along with your driver if you're able to. Right? I've actually done that a few times, and I learned a lot. I was there one time. My driver driver I was working with had to have a flatbed and get they rolled. It was a non-runner Porsche with a low ground clearance, so he got a flatbed, which I didn't even know that was going to be required. He had to get the flatbed, put the Porsche on the flatbed, and then the flatbed took it into the residence. And then the residents looking at it, and I mean, I saw all of it firsthand. I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that a non-run and drive, low ground clearance Porsche could be this much trouble. I thought it was just a car. It's crazy. I felt really stupid. And I didn't tell anybody. And to this day, I've never told anybody. Except you guys. Okay, so, let's see. Learn to cope with daily stress. Do the best you can. Dispatching is hard, but it'll be okay. Alright, and in my final parting words, I say, don't be afraid of change and keep learning every day. I mean, things constantly change. It's something I say. It's one of my mantras. Things always change, but it's not a bad thing. Change is actually good. Chapters in a book are good. So, if you've had a difficult chapter and you need to put it behind you, it's okay. There's another chapter in front of you. It's good to learn. Somebody thought that this would be a ridiculous show because I used the word expert. You know what? 2 hours later, I don't know. I might be able to use that word now a little bit. I'm not the expert, but there's so much good information here. And if you've got good information for me, I want you to email me. autotransportintel@gmail.com. What I really want you to do is put it in the comments below and give a like and share. That's what I want. This is an ecosystem of people, information, jobs within a gigantic automotive industry. And my hope is that as a dispatcher, I can help folks become better dispatchers. I'm hoping that owner-operators that do their own dispatching watch these shows and it helps them too. Because ultimately, you know what I really want? I want to help educate folks that are moving vehicles to understand how expensive it really is to run a transport business and how difficult it is if information is hidden or there are any kind of funny business or tricks or expectations of door to door and steaming hot pizzas and promises and all stuff. It's crazy. This is a hard industry, and we all need to work together if we're going to get through auto transport. So, having said that, hey Mike, so do you have, is there anything you can think of that you wanted to ask me? Did you make any notes of anything you want to say?
Um, no, I mean, you covered a lot. Great info once again.
Oh, shoot, man.
Yep.
I appreciate that. All right, I'm going to go back through the chat. Stay with me, Mike. Let's go through this chat. Oh, my goodness. So we've got Alan, Original Tweeter, Novada. You guys have put a lot of conversation into the chat. This is awesome. I don't know if I can get through all of it without bringing down viewership. That could be helpful. Okay, you hit a bridge. Are you completely... Oh, shoot, man. Hitting a bridge, dude. Happy hauling. Got to get up at 3 a.m. Yeah, man. Isn't that the truth? If it wasn't sitting at home, I'd be turning in as well. Oh, okay, you're sitting at home. Listen, man, but you guys, this is my. I'm at the 2 hour mark. I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's do a little wrap up of the show. Of If you have a specific question that you want to chat to me right now, you can do that. If you want to mention something about what's coming up in June with running numbers, you could chat that. You can email me. I also know that one of the benefits of having a long show is that some drivers are on the road when the show starts. Others need to get on the road or get some sleep. So having a long show, people can come in and go. Um, and so if you've got something you want to say, do that now, because I'm going to wrap this up. We're gonna finish here. We're going to be done in 10 minutes. The show will be over in 10 minutes, because I finished part 3, which was the goal of this episode. And I've got the load boards pulled up. I can talk about. We can look at load boards or specific questions if need be. Also, I do recommend checking out like overdriveonline.com is a good resource. Whether you're a driver, dispatcher, even if you're a shipper, you should check this out. The Truckers Report is also another great resource where you can jump into threads and forums. You can ask questions. And I found this today on, well, I didn't find it. It was on Trucking with Authority with Kenny Long. In the freight world, they were talking about, I call this like a heat map or weather map. This is in dry vans, actually getting down to statistics of loads versus drivers available. I think car hauling could really use some of this kind of information. And if you have this kind of information, or you're a resource of some type in car hauling, let me know. I would love to have you on the show if you're willing to share the information. That'd be great. I would love to have you on the show. And then as I wrap up, let's do this. I'm going to go into, let's see here. I think my last slide, I think was this. Let's see if I'm right about that. Yeah, so we had Don Draper, and we're laughing about dispatchers because you know what? Why not? Because whoever booked this really had to know their stuff. That you got to be careful when you book Sprinter vans. They come in all shapes and sizes, length, weight, height. It's pretty amazing. And I mean, this is a good load, probably a good paying load too. I hope you guys can see that. It looks a little dark on my screen, but just make sure you know what you're doing if you book that kind of a load. That one is interesting. I don't know if I've ever booked a load that big. That's a big truck. So be careful again. This is a good one because you know what? A good reminder actually that when you're sitting at your desk and you're dispatching, drivers are out there working hard. This is hopefully your dispatch office doesn't look like that. What else we got here? I don't understand this. I don't understand how drivers get expected there's all these expectations and then they can't use the restroom. Really? That's kind of crazy, isn't it? So so then you get this. This guy is not dumping apple juice out of his truck. That is nice. But, I mean, you know what? If you can't use the restroom, I guess we're going to use the jug. Here you go, little fella. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, check your email before you're done. Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to do that. Let's see what we got here. I don't get a lot of emails during the show. Oh, let's see here. They finally did it? No way. Are you saying what I think you're saying? Stan is saying... Okay. I think Stan is saying... Are you talking about the backhaul button, Stan? I don't see it. Let's see here. It might be in the screen capture you sent me. But, okay, I think Stan is saying... Is there really a backhaul button? Is that the deal? Tell me if there is. Did they add the JBB? So I don't know. I'm hoping so. I think that's what he's saying. Let's see here. Sitting at home. Okay. All right. We only got a few minutes left. Okay. This one is. I think this came from John. Yeah, this was John Griffo. He shares a lot of great stuff on Facebook. So shout out to you, John. He's going to be on the show here in the next couple weeks. That is really, isn't that interesting? Never seen a, I don't know, it's like out of Mad Max or something. Play the image live. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. For some reason, Stan, it's not, Oh, I see. Okay, I see. All right, let me see if I can do that. All right, Stan has something he wants to share with us. All right, so let's see if we can do that. Let's try and make this happen. Okay. Okay. So, Stan has shared this. This is from Central Dispatch. And Stan is telling us that, I know it's, hopefully you guys can see this, and I'm looking at it. There is a backhaul button. Oh my gosh. Central Dispatch added a backhaul button. They added the JBB. I own that. I told him to no. Why did it take until May 2018? Is there going to be, are they going to raise the rate because they added a new function? Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, I guess we're going to get to 200 a month quicker than we thought. It's animated. It's a GIF? Wow. That is crazy. Well, yeah, they did. Hey, does anybody else know about this? They added a backhaul button. That is crazy. All right. Well, you know what? I never do this, but I'm just going to do it. Okay, man. All right, dude. You're live on the air.
Hello?
Hey, you're live on the air, man.
Are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Because you're live.
I'm sorry. Hey, dude, I'm here at where Carvana's supposed to be,
Yeah.
and it's not here.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I
Let's.
would continue down this long, lonely road, but they got
Let's do
they
this.
got a deal where they got a bridge with a weight limit.
Okay. Oh, that's not good.
No, and if I know that if it's ahead of me, I'd continue, but I can't find Carvana on a website.
Okay. So So are you driving right now?
No, I'm parked. I'm
Okay.
walking along the.
Oh, you're
two-lane
walking.
highway,
Okay.
or two-lane road.
And you are at. Okay, you're at 600 Creek Road in Delanco, right?
Well, it says Moortown when it comes up with a zip code.
All right. Hang on. So let's do this.
I apologize.
No, that's cool. Now we're live. This is great, man. This is what we're talking about. I mean, here we are. That's cool, dude. That's cool. Okay, so let's see what we got here. All right. 600 Creek Road.
You can find me.
Okay, so I found Carvana.
Yeah.
All right. So, according to Google Maps, Carvana really is at 600 Creek Road in Delanco. What zip code do you have?
Hold on. Look.
Because the city should be Delanco.
Well, you know what? I'm damn close. Let me see. It says 08075.
That's what I got too. 08075.
But it comes up Moorhead.
Okay. So let's do this. Do you know the address that you're at right now? Meaning, I'm going to put in the address. If you can give me an address, I'm going to see what it is.
Alright. Hold on one second.
Moorhead. So
I'm in a really bad spot, actually.
okay, well, yeah, I know what you mean. It happens.
Not where you want to be with this sunlight, but hold on.
Moorhead, New Jersey.
Yeah.
How do you spell Moorhead, New Jersey?
I don't know. Hold on. I mean, I got to handle one question at a time.
I hear you. See? Well, this is kind of interesting.
If I have that on, I can use my phone. Now I got to look at my phone, back out of some shit. Okay.
See?
I am at.
This is it, man. This is real, dude. This is real. This is not.
I know.
This is real, man. This is awesome.
I'm at 610 Creek Road. I'm in a place called Five Ponds. Let me see if I can send you this.
You're in Moorestown, New Jersey. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the other town doesn't come up, but the zip code's the same.
This is pretty weird. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm comparing the map of where I want you to be with the map of where you are. There's Burlington Township. Okay. Oh, very interesting. Okay, so my guess is there's a south and a north.
Good to know.
I'm thinking. So it looks to me like you're south of where I want you to be. So what I'm going to do is 600 Creek Road.
It's behind me.
Okay. You're at 610 Creek Road, right?
Yeah, whatever I told you.
Yep. Okay. So if you can go north on Creek Road towards Highway 130.
All right. Let me see. I gotta get. Let me try this again here.
Yep.
Recent. I'm done with that. So I gotta get to 600.
Right. Which is, yep, 600 Creek Road. Same. Oh wow. Your zip code's transposed. The zip code you're at is 08057. The zip code you need is 08075.
What's the town?
Delanco, New Jersey. I'm going to text you the address.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
In the Carmen.
I hear you. I hear you.
And Delanco Township. Done. 2.5 miles. Go.
Yeah.
Go forward.
That store's
Okay.
with us. Big
Where am
dogs.
I? 5 miles. Okay. Let me try it. I'll give you a call when I get parked.
Perfect, man.
Alright, bye.
All right, see ya. Huh. I don't think I could have thought of a better end to an episode about dispatcher training. I really don't think I could have. I mean, that's real stuff, right? It's 10 o'clock at night. The driver needed my assistance, and I was here for that. Wow. Thanks for plugging me with Mike. He's been my dispatch since day one. That's awesome. Self-Made gives you a shout out, Mike.
Oh, did he? Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's a good man. Yeah, nice.
Isn't that cool? I mean, you're in a groove with X number of drivers, and
Yeah.
gosh, I don't even know how to finish that thought. How would you finish that thought?
Yeah. He's a good dude.
That's
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's one of the things about auto transport is we are looking for the freedom
Mhm.
and the camaraderie that we seem to not be able to find at larger company jobs now.
Right.
Um, so many jobs ask us to leave our individuality at the door, and we don't really want to do that.
Right.
Not really. We want don't we want to use some of our natural skills as part of our job
Mhm.
instead of leave who we are at the door, adopt a whole new set of rules, apply those rules between the hours of 8 and 5, then walk back out the door, be who we really are, and then go to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy. All right, well, everybody, that is dispatcher training part 3 of 3. I really hope it's been informative and has lived up to its promise. Um, let's pull up the graphic here again. Um, and again, I encourage you to email me, to share the show, like the show, comment below, and hopefully, you know what? I want to say this too. I'm going to say this too. When I come on camera and says, I know there are other good dispatch companies out there, and I know we don't talk, and it doesn't have to be that way. That if you're a dispatch company, and even though we may seem like competitors, I don't want to be anybody's competitor. Um, Auto Transport Intel is an open forum and is a host to the ecosystem, and not the only host. So if there's a dispatch company out there that wants to talk, and man, I'm open to that. I'm open to anything. So send me an email, comment below, and if you hate this show, I'm sorry. Um, and if you love this show, I'm grateful. So
Who could hate this show?
I don't know, man. Man, somebody does. You know, you can't please all the people all the time.
No, I know.
I know you just
Right.
can't, but I appreciate that, Mike. It's been quite a journey.
Yeah.
Thanks again for the super chat earlier and the
Oh,
super chats.
absolutely.
I appreciate it, and I'm glad that I've been able to help you launch and succeed. I mean, it sounds like things are going well. So even though this
Yeah.
is part 3 of 3, and in some ways I should have a little diploma for you. It's that time of year. Everybody's getting diplomas. I should have made a diploma.
Right.
Man, I blew it, dude. I didn't think of that. That would have been awesome. But
Yeah.
you know, keep updated with me. If you need another driver, let me know. That goes for DP Dispatch out there as well. And again, if you're a dispatch company and you need another driver, I have drivers ask me all the time.
Mhm.
If I have a dispatch recommendation. So I'm always open for more ideas and information. So listen, everybody, thank you so much for joining me again. This was live episode 35 in a row. Another what I'd call another successful Tuesday night, and I couldn't do it without you guys. And the generosity that was happening a couple hours ago is still blowing my mind. I love it. I appreciate it. And I'm going to be here every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock doing the same thing. And next show, we're going to start talking. We're going to start a trend of 2 things. We already started Hot Shot 101, so we're going to keep that going. And we did start talking about trucking numbers, and we're going to keep that going. So June is all about trucking business and expenses. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. And Mike, again, thank you so much, man. I'm gonna say goodnight to you now. Okay.
All right, cool. Yeah, I thank you again for your help. You've been a great help to me and so many other people, and we appreciate it.
I appreciate
Thanks, man.
that. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You have a good night.
You too.
All right, take care.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay, let's do the siren. Let's do some more Kool-Aid, guys. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, this is the EL. You guys know what this is. This is the ELD Kool-Aid. I have it every show. Super safe, super Kool-Aid. You guys stay safe out there. Thank you so much for joining me for another Auto Transport Intel Car Hauling Dispatcher. And I'll see you guys next week. I'm going to run up the, here's the car hauler. Here it comes. I will see you guys next week. Take care. Thanks for joining me, and I really appreciate it. See you then.